All right, we're here with Chapter 17 of White Stallions of Lipizza. It's called Spectacular Entrance. It was 5 minutes before curtain time. Hans tiptoed onto the opening set. Through the peephole, his eyes swept over the theater. The main floor, the 3 rows of boxes, the 5 galleries. He was hunting for one person, Colonel Alois Podchaski. Hans had to make certain he was there. After the performance, he told himself, the colonel will come backstage, and he could say, Hans Haupt, you have handled your assignment extremely well. When the opera closes, I want you to stay on at the Ritschule and become a writing master. In fact, you may begin at once. Hans blinked. So he's imagining that, right? That's what he wants to happen.
Yeah,
he was almost blinded by the dazzling lights and the glitter of gold, tier upon tier to the ceiling. Suddenly, as he looked, all hands began turning in one direction, and a white-gloved hand made a spatter of applause. The colonel, handsome in black, full dress and white tie, and his wife in furs and jewels were entering their box in the middle of the house. The colonel bowed deeply, pleased and surprised at the ovation. Just then the call boy shouted, Curtain! Curtain! In quick succession, the house lights dimmed, the footlights came on, and Hans flew into the wings, past the little groups of nervous actors to Barina's stall. He found the great placid creature eating hay, completely undisturbed by all the chaos. He seemed to know it would be a long time before Act 3. He stopped eating a moment to smell noses with Hans, and then stood quite still while Hans hand rubbed his coat and combed the ivory mane and tail for the 5th time that day. Working eased Hans's nervousness, and Barina responded with little grunts of contentment. As the first act gained momentum, Hans found himself stroking in time to the music, and humming along with Madame Giritza as her clear soprano voice came and floating back to them. Barino nodded and dozed until Ramirez sang his first love song, but even then he showed no signs of excitability. By the burst of applause that followed Act 1, Hans could tell it was a success. Act 2, however, seemed never ending. Horse and boy began pacing up and down around the stall, passing each other at every lap. All the while, Barina's ears were constantly at play, as if trying to pull out a melody meant for him alone. It was a relief when the stagehands began shifting scenery and Hans knew the second act was over. He brought out the western saddle and the gem-studded bridle, and tonight he timed himself very carefully, allowing a full half-hour before he saddled and bridled and led Barina into the wings. Maybe that had been the trouble before. They had always been too early, and Barina had become over-eager with waiting. The moment had come. It was time for Madame Giritza to mount. Hans cupped his hands as a step-stool, and in one motion she swung gracefully into the saddle. She took the reins and settled herself securely and nodded to Hans to place the rolled-up carpet in front of Barina. Then she leaned at the boy, giving him a dazzling, everything will be all right smile. Hans returned the smile. He stepped aside, and with one eye on Barina, he watched the action on stage. He saw the hangman lower the noose, and he heard Ramirez pour out his passionate plea. Oh, let her believe that I have fled to freedom. I don't know how the music goes, but he's singing it. Confident that tonight Barina would give him full time, the tenor's voice rose and swelled in a tumult of emotion. He sang more eloquently than Hans had ever heard him. Just as his final note faded, and just as Hans was about to pull the carpet away, Barina rose up on his hind legs and stood almost perpendicular. Instinctively, Giritza grabbed his mane as the stallion leaped over the carpet and landed on stage in a perfect corvée. The audience gasped at the sheer beauty and audacity, then broke into a thunder of applause and bravos. It was the most spectacular entrance of Giritza's career. So there's the horse. He just jumped over the carpet, which I guess nobody thought he might try to do. Without thinking, Hans bolted toward the stage to rescue her in case Barina should try another leap, but someone caught him by the seat of his pants and jerked him back into the wings. In all the commotion on stage and off, Barina was the only calm one. With great decorum, he settled down on all 4 feet and stood motionless, waiting for his gentle rider to burst into song. With amazing self-possession, she did. Tremulously at first, then with a growing ardor, she put into her aria such soul-stirring appeal that Hans closed his eyes, listening as if she were pleading his cause rather than the outlaws. He leaned against the wall, his heart bursting in misery. Now all was lost. The air director would be quick to tell Colonel Podchaski whose idea it was to roll up the carpet. His career as a riding master would be over before it began. He heard the curtain going up and down while Madame Giritza took her bows. In his anguish, he mistook the crescendo of applause as an expression of sympathy and understanding. He felt a dull pain in his chest. His spirits had hit bottom. Oh no, he's convinced he's going to be in trouble.